So it's the end of the school year, and I decided that I wanted to show you guys all the art that I did over my freshman year in high school. So this portfolio though is from 7th grade. I just thought that I'd reuse it because I already had it. First project, we experimented with black and white concepts using permanent markers on Bristol board, and I came up with the idea of a wolf Zentangle thing on a rock in woods. Yeah. And this is the Sumi Nagashi paper that became a sketchbook. These were all my Zentangle ideas, and I was trying to decide between these two, and I picked that one. Quick flip through, concept sketches, doodling with the materials, concept. You kind of get the point. Thumbnails, ideas. It didn't get filled up as we mostly focused on creating final paintings, not so much sketching, but certainly lots of fun, I'd say. That's it. It's not really filled up, but that's what I got. Next, we started playing around with other mediums, and first we started off with charcoal using actual 3D model-y figured things. We just kind of had to depict the shape of it, put the shadows, the highlights, the values in. This actually I drew right after the Zentangle wolf thing. So this is the same material, same Sharpie, except using smaller ones, and same Bristol paper, just someone sitting in a rock. Next we have here some material studies. So we tried out a couple different materials for our kind of big project that we had to choose a material for. First we started out with kind of grayscale charcoal stuff, and then we did a kind of a study on that, which as you can see isn't finished. We had to draw a study of the sticker that we chose using colored pencil things. So I chose a bear. That obviously did not turn out. And next we used normal pens. We tried all these different shading techniques and how we could represent the 3D-ness of an object through that. And my teacher brought out real cow skulls, which was pretty cool. And we got all different angles from it, and we got to choose our own little way of how we did it. And I ended up with this little sketch. Next, we did another study, this time on gray tone paper using a highlight pen, a Sakura gel pen, and some Micron pens. She brought in these different subjects. My table chose the dinosaurs with the little succulent moss on them, which I was really happy about. And then just kind of sketched those out, and thought this was pretty cool. Next, we had a skeleton in the room that I forget, was the name Gary? I don't know. I forget the name of the skeleton, but it's been there forever. We got to take a picture of a certain part that we wanted to use on this black paper using the Sakura white gel pen. And I just chose to do the head. I did stippling and hatching. And then I guess I wanted to make it look like there was like smoke or evaporation, something coming out. So the ultimate project was we had to draw a beast, and we had to draw it using one of or multiple of the materials that we have learned. I ended up last minute putting the door on it because that ended up being a really cool idea. And so you open it, you see the actual illustration, and it's this little creature with glowing eyes. I at first wanted it just to be this layout just because it looked cool, and then me and my teacher talked about the concept, and she said it'd be really cool if we had the door, make it kind of 3D, and so we did, and that's a pretty good choice. And so I had some extra time after, and I ended up again with the same paper. I used the Micron to fill this idea of these other monsters, along with the gel pen and some of the Sharpie to fill in these large areas, and I think it's pretty cute. Next, we started doing oil pastels, which I have done before, and not my kind of thing. And I did one of when I went to summer camp last year in Beach Bash. Take a photo because my mom told me to, and so I did it here. Took a while. Not my favorite. Nothing that I'd really want to come back to. Maybe later, see if my little heart softens up. New medium, we started with watercolor, and watercolor is my jam. It's the medium that I started with, it's the medium I love best, and I was really excited for this. I did a watercolor eye that was crying apparently, and I did another one. I like this one a lot better, I think. Yeah, pretty much. And then I decided to try some texture, which I haven't really done in my watercolor paintings. I want to see how many textures I could do. And then came the final project. I did this girl with black hair wearing my jacket with a dog that looks strangely like mine. And the bottle says tears on it, and it's just raining outside, and it looks really nice out the window. And I guess what I wanted to communicate through this is that art is a way that we emotionally invest ourselves into, and it's just a good way to represent ourselves. My knees are hurting, but I did have some extra time, so I did this painting, which I ended up hanging in the art gallery, and it was this idea of this girl that had her head in the clouds, so her hair is like clouds and stuff, and then the birds were coming, and she's just in the sky. Maybe she's a giant, a friendly giant. So we started preparing for another new project. We did it on black paper using colored pencils, and I had the idea of these mushrooms being kept in a lamp in the grass, and I really liked it. Next, we practiced doing feathers for owls, and so I chose this kind of an owl. As you can see, didn't quite finish it, and it's just really waxy, and it just wasn't. I was losing some of the grain of the paper, and just not great. This I really like doing. We did hands, and some people took pictures. Some people can do it right in front of them as a live study. I did mine as a live study to kind of challenge myself, and I really, really enjoyed drawing my hand. I thought it was really cool. Yeah, so this is the final project. I've spent a couple of days on this. Didn't really turn out. I mean, I spent all the time getting reference for the hair, for the sweater, for the skin, and I didn't really know what to do with the background, so I kind of just put it in there, and it didn't really look well, and people didn't get the pun. Oh yeah, so this is supposed to be, or the topic was supposed to be a visual pun, so stuff like eyesore or caught red-handed, time flies by, and so I did eye patch, because it's an eye, and it's patched. She has a needle right here. We got another new project. And this time we're gonna be doing printing, and we're gonna be printing on clothes and paper. So this was the drawing that I first did, which took a while. And my idea behind this was that I wanted it to be representative of, Psalm 1:5-4-3? Hold on, I'm wearing a shirt right now. Yes, Psalm 1:3. It's about being planted by the water, and the water's Christ, and then you'll bear fruit. So I drew fruit on the tree, and I added a sign to balance it. This is the final print, and so as you can see, this adds some just space. It just compositionally, color weightedly balances it out. For those of you that are curious of what the shirt looks like, I printed it on a thick grain shirt, and this is the final product of what the design is. Really happy. It is a little bit more difficult to print because this material is thicker, but I'm definitely very happy. It has survived like 5-10 washes now, so the paint is really good. And as well as the front, on the back, I decided to print the verse. I did manage to have just enough time to do another print, and so I did one of Doki Doki, which is Japanese for like heartthrob. This new medium that we're doing was acrylic. I have done acrylic paintings before, in 6th grade mostly. This was the first project, which is supposed to be a study. It was supposed to be of a monochromatic plant. I did this, I got carried away and made it an actual painting, which kind of set me behind. I did finish this at home. So with a lot of working outside class, I was able to finish this. Next study was of a food, and so I decided to do onigiri. Next, I did another study. This one was supposed to be for fur, and so I did my own dog, a picture that I took of her under the covers, just so cutely. I had to quickly do another study so I could catch up to the last project. This one was supposed to be for skin to help us with our final project, which was going to be a portrait. And so I did a photo or a painting of lips and a nose. Lastly, there was a big final project. This took quite a while. It's really big, as you can see. So it was this. It was a self-portrait, so this is going to be the closest thing that you'll get to seeing my face, because I'm not going to show it, or I'm not planning to, maybe later in my YouTube life. Yeah, and I really liked how I did the hair, and I was able to find the knit of the hat and the scarf wrapping around my face. Again, I had to blur the background because that's how it was in the photo, and that was difficult, and that took so many layers, but I was able to get it right. I really also struggled with the skin, and I almost forgot to color in the jacket. Me and my teacher did not notice until I mentioned it last minute. I really did enjoy the practices more. This was like fun, but I did just like the practices. So this was made at the very last day of art class. I don't know if you can see the pencil, but last minute she introduced Copics to us, and the theme was supposed to just be a character, our own character. So I just drew my good old time OC, Tsukiko. And so I did like her eye, profile, the weaponry she uses. And then the sketch is, I don't know if you can see, but it's of her just like showing off her claws and being really angry. This one is of her kind of just eating rice. Yeah, 2 other forms. And so that is all of the artwork that I did for my freshman year in my art class. Have a happy summer and stay cool out in the hot, hot sun.